former President Donald Trump's absence at last night's GOP debate is fueling calls from the Trump camp for a new Republican strategy, an end to all GOP debates. The Trump campaign saying in a statement last night that the, quote, GOP debate was as boring and inconsequential as the first debate, adding, quote, that the RNC should immediately put an end to any further primary debates. So can we train our fire on crooked Joe Biden and quit wasting time and money? Former President Trump's team has also confirmed to NewsNation that he will not be attending the third GOP debate in Miami in November. No shock there. Joining us now, we have Johanna Maska, former Obama administration official and NewsNation contributor, and Hogan Gidley, former Trump White House deputy press secretary. Hello to you both. Thank you for coming on in. Hogan, I'll start with you. Is this the right move from the Trump campaign to say party's over, put an end to it, or is it unfair to the rest of the Republicans? You know, a single vote hasn't been cast yet.
Well, I don't think it's going to really amount to much. I think the RNC and the others in league with them are going to continue forward with these debates. But at the same time, it has largely been inconsequential at this point. I mean, look, Donald Trump has a 40, 50, 60-point lead in some polls. He's lapping the field multiple times. You saw last night kind of a group of folks up there, many of whom have had several accomplishments, good ones at the state level, at the federal level. But they just can't seem to break through. They can't resonate with the American people. And you're seeing that because this is such a unique cycle. We actually have a former president who's running on his record as president. Everyone else is saying, hey, I promise if you elect me, I'll do all the things Donald Trump did the first time and put those America First policies in place. The problem is,
Johanna,
in this tumultuous time, there aren't a lot of GOP voters who are willing to buy that or risk it.
Johanna?
Well, so the trouble, Hogan, for the Republican Party is continuing to sow doubt in this primary process. You still have about half of your electorate who does not want Donald Trump to be the nominee. There are those people. So the thing that they're doing right now, we won't know until October, is that they're arranging it such that it's going to be harder for those candidates to get any delegates. I think the debates very much matter. They matter because there is a Republican electorate looking for an alternative, and there are alternatives emerging, including Nikki Haley. But what's happening is it's going to take time. And the more the Republicans just say, no, your vote doesn't matter, no, you don't count to the Republican Party, you're dissuading those people from showing up, and you're actually giving them more energy to go towards Joe Biden. And the last thing I just have to say, Blake, is I said on the program yesterday that I think that Vivek, we were going to keep seeing people go after Vivek, and I was not wrong. So,
it happened again last night.
It was funny to watch.
Yeah. But I didn't say they didn't matter. I didn't say the debates didn't matter. I just said at this point,
inconsequential.
If you're, they have been largely to this point. I'm saying if you're high in the polls, you don't want any debates. If you're low in the polls, you want a lot of debates, i.e. RFK Jr., who would love to get on the debate stage with, Joe Biden, of course. And speaking of people who aren't happy with the front runner, the Democrats have a whole mess on their side, too. So when you look at the front runner, the sitting president of the United States and Joe Biden, a lot of folks on the left are quite concerned about his age. They're definitely concerned about his cognitive decline, not to mention his policies that have hurt the American people. So they want to take a look at some other candidates, kick the tires as well. But that obviously is going to happen because he's a sitting president.
You two, Johanna, Hogan, stay there for a second. I want to get to Mick for a second because you spoke to Ronna McDaniel about this.
If it has Hogan a question about it. Hogan, it's Mick. I bumped into Ronna last week. We talked about just this, and one of the things she pointed out was that, well, Trump's at about 50%, which is a huge number, but also means that, half the party is not with him yet. We talked about the viability of future debates, which he said is they're going to continue to simply raise the bar. That, you had to have 3% this week. You might have to have 5% next week. Look, if you get to 15% at the next debate, there's only one person who qualifies, and that's Donald Trump. Isn't that a smarter way for the RNC to handle it, to sort of slowly increase the requirements as opposed to say, we agree with Trump, we'll get rid of these debates? That's how Dems do.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're doing the wrong thing. I'm just trying to point out the fact that Donald Trump says, hey, let's clear the field and focus on Joe Biden. I'm way ahead. It's a strategy. It's a tactic on his part, and I get it. At the same time, I understand the position Rana's in, too, where she wants everyone to do these fulsome debates. Get the ideas out there. Let's talk about this so that when you do settle on a nominee, all of the people are okay with what the process was to get to that point.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.